Hello, Steve Mills here. Welcome to Results Mastery Live. It's great to have you here. Thank you ever so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I know that you're busy like everybody is. I know that there are things that you need to do, but you've, in my opinion, done the right thing. You've taken a few minutes out. I'm going to respect your time. We're only going to be here for about 15 minutes. And I'm going to give you some what I believe are great insights into your business and what you could do to improve it. Because, wherever you are on that scale of 1 to 10, from 10 being I run the perfect business and it's incredibly profitable and growing and so on and so forth, to 1 being, we're really struggling to survive, and maybe 5 being average. Wherever you are on that scale, I'm sure there are things that you could do to try and improve it. So welcome. It's fantastic to have you here. As I've said, we're live. I'm actually live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and on YouTube. How cool is that we can do that these days? I can remember where if I wanted to get a message out to 1,000 people, that involved 1,000 letters, 1,000 stamps, and 1,000 envelopes, or spending a fortune on advertising. And now I can do it basically for very little money. And get my message out there via a variety of different tools all at the same time. So anyway, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and that is the E-Myth, which is a book by Michael Gerber. Let me just show it you there so you can go and buy this. Go and buy it. And I want to clarify, I'm not on commission in any way, but I often say to people that there should be a law in this country. I feel that strongly. There should be a law that says you're not allowed to start a business until and unless you've read the E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I know that might sound a little bit ridiculous, and I'm saying it slightly tongue-in-cheek, but I do really believe very strongly that this book is probably the #1 book. If you don't read any other business book ever, then read this one. It is incredibly powerful. Now, obviously, it contains lots of great ideas, page after page after page of it. And I can't, in 15 minutes go through everything with you. But what I can do is just remind you of 3 things which Gerber talks about in the book. By the way, I don't know whether you caught that, but underneath there, look at the subhead, why small businesses don't work and what to do about it, which is really, if you're thinking, what's he mean? What's the E-Myth? What's the entrepreneurial myth, which is actually what it is. And the message behind that is that the entrepreneurs are people who run small businesses. And Gerber says it's actually not true. They're not run by entrepreneurs. They're often ran by experts operationally. Okay, operational experts. So, for example, if I'm a garage mechanic, I open up my own garage. Why do I do that? Because I'm really good at repairing cars. If I'm a hairdresser, what do? I open up my own hairdressing salon. Why is that? Because I'm really good at cutting hair. Or, the same applies to almost any and every business, really. And Gerber says that's the biggest problem. So that what happens is people go to work in their business doing the work that the business does. And he says that is the really the worst thing that you could do. Slightly tongue-in-cheek again, but Gerber says in the E-Myth that, if you're a hairdresser, you should start your own garage. If you're a garage mechanic, you should start your own hairdressing salon. Why? Because you can't do the work. So you have to go to work on the business to build a business that does that work. And he says, and that missing ingredient is the missing ingredient that means that when you do start a business as a hairdresser, you go to work cutting hair, and all you've done is found yourself another job, and often that job just keeps you incredibly busy doing it every day, full, and you don't get time to grow your business, basically. So that said, let me talk about the three things that I promised to talk about. And they are the first one is Gerber describes it as innovation. What does he mean? Well, he means, or my take on what he means is he means you need to look at each and every element of your business and work out what you need to innovate, in other words, to change about that business in order to improve the results that you're getting. Now, the main things that you might want to consider under this innovation headline are things like your sales system, the way you ask for a referral, most things really in your marketing. You know, you could provide innovations on your website. You could change the headlines, you could change the words, you could add or change videos. It's about, really, I call it maximization of your results, because, you know, your results are absolutely fundamental to your business. You know, if you're not getting enough leads into your business, why is that? It's because your marketing's not working to the level it could. If you're getting the leads in, but you're not converting those into sales, why is that? That's because your sales processes or your sales skills are not working as well as they could. If you're winning business, but not looking after customers, and you're losing business, you know, you're winning clients and they're disappearing off somewhere else, then there's customer service innovations that you might need to implement in order to try to improve what you do. So, you know, if you looked at each and every element of your business, and the main 7 elements I believe that there are in a business in terms of business growth are: number 1, marketing. You know, there are lots of things you can do to innovate and change and improve your marketing in some way. Number 2 would be sales. And again, the same thing applies. Number 3 would be customers, the way you deal, the way you introduce your business when a customer comes on board. What do they get? What happens then? What happens after that? Your process, your customer care. You know, is there anything you could do to improve that? So that's number 3. Number 4 would be your financial side of your business, you know, your financial management. Is there something that that you could do to improve your knowledge, your expertise, or just the way that you manage, you know, the way you do your books, the way you understand the financial side of your business? So that's number 5. Number 6 would be people. You know, the way you hire, the way you recruit, the way you motivate, how you keep people, you know, all different things that you could do to try and improve. And lastly would be systems. These are your sales, marketing, operational, customer service, financial systems, your written processes that you use within your business in order to make sure that each and every time you transact with a customer, it's maximized, it's innovated, it's improved. Let me just give you a couple of examples where I've used this, and I'm going to give you some examples from my operational side, the work that I've done. I work with a company who were selling, you probably saw it on the introduction, you know, that little intro thing that I ran just before I started speaking. They sold a big piece of recycling equipment, like a conveyor belt. And they sold it for £2.5 million into local authorities, because it saved local authorities round about 30, I think it was 20 to 30% from what I recall, on recycling costs, which could be up to like £2-3 million a year. They had a headline and they used the name of the company, which was Nicolas Jovisa. They're a Spanish company trying to get into the UK. And I said, why are you, using the name of your company and on your advertising? And they said, well, we're trying to get brand awareness, trying to get known. I said, well, do you want brand awareness or do you want to get selling? Oh, we want to sell stuff. Well, let's change the name of the company. Let's not worry about that, because nobody could care what your company does. All they care about is what you can do for them. So why don't we try using a headline, something like local authorities save 20 to 30% on recycling? That might attract attention. The following month, when the advert went out in this magazine, it did attract attention. It got 5 inquiries. Out of those 5 inquiries, he got 2 sales. Those 2 sales were worth £5 million. £5 million of additional unforeseen income, because they'd been advertising in that magazine for 6 months without an inquiry. So that's just one example of how changing a headline can make a massive difference in your business, in my business, and in any business. And just to clarify, that's not just about headlines in magazines. That's about headlines in emails. That's about headlines on your social media. That's about headlines in your website, and so on and so forth. So, this innovation, it can make you a considerable amount of money if you're consistently and ongoingly, if that is such a word. I don't think it is actually, but never mind. But if you constantly look at innovating in your business to try and improve it. Does that make sense? So that's really, really important. The next one is quantification. Excuse me. What does quantification mean? Well, quantification is the measurement of innovation. That's ultimately what it's about. So you're going to innovate. You're going to change things within your sales, marketing, customer service, systems, finance, the way you manage people, and so on and so forth. You're going to be looking to try to improve things. When you do that, you need to know whether it's worked or not. If that company, Nicholas Yo Visa, had changed the ad and they didn't bother to measure or know whether it was work. I mean, it was fairly easy because it was quite substantial. But, if you made a change to your website and all of a sudden you noticed that the more people were going to the page and you were getting more inquiries, that's what quantification is. Quantifying what's working and what's not. So that's really, really important, I believe. And then the last one is what Gerber calls orchestration. Orchestration is the management of innovation and quantification. What does that mean? It means making sure that each and every time you do it, whatever it might be, that it's always done to the same high standard. Okay, so you've got an innovation. Let's say the innovation is around when somebody becomes a new client, this is what happens. And it could be something like they get a letter through the post thanking them. Within that letter is just a little free gift, or I don't know, some information. I mean, one of the things we do, for example, is when somebody becomes a client via recommendation, we send £100 to cancer research in their name. Right. So that's a little innovation. It's something different. Most people like that we do that. We love that we do that. And so that becomes a great way of looking at it and looking at what we're doing in terms of our onboarding process, if you will. What happens after that? Do they get some more information? Do we send them an email to welcome them? Do they get introduced to other members of my team so that they know not only me, but the other people that are going to be dealing with them, and so on and so forth? And that's how innovation, quantification, and then orchestration work. So that's just about it. I'm slightly over my 15 minutes. I do apologize for that. I would just like to say, I do this every day. If you want to come along each day, please let me know. I'd like to invite you to join my Results Mastery University, which is a place online that you can network with other people who are connected to me, and also gain access to a load of training that I've developed that's all online, and you can have access to that totally free of charge for 30 days. Don't need credit card or anything like that. Just get yourself signed up and access my program. At the end of the 30 days, I give you a quick call and say, would you like to continue? If you do, it's £25 a month. And if you don't, that's fine. It's as simple as that. So I think that's a pretty good deal. If you want to book a meeting with me, you can see that banner that's been scrolling away since I started talking. Just go onto my website, steve-mills.com, book a free, no obligation meeting, and we can talk about you and your business and where we might take it together. Thanks very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking again soon.